Hey y'all, it's Taryn. It is Sunday, June 18th. Welcome. It's been a month. Once again, I think it's getting longer and longer each time. It's getting worse, not better. Anyway, I was actually going to record last weekend, but I had a horrible sinus headache, so I just did nothing instead. But I have done a lot of stitching. I was a little bit blown away because when I was pulling everything out to show y'all, there was still stuff from Stitch Mania that I hadn't shown you yet. So it's pathetic. That's what it is. It's pathetic. Apologize for the hair. I've been out dragging branches and stuff around, and so it's about 1,000,000 degrees. So I just can't deal with the hair. And I guess this is better than shaving it off, right? Anyway, let's get started. I hope y'all have been well. I forgot to show y'all in my last video Addison's Mother's Day card. She had her kids make card in her class at school, so she made me one too. With her handprint. Oh, I died laughing. It says Addison's handprint, age 24. How hysterical is that? So, I wanted to show y'all that because my kids are funny. At least I think they're funny anyway. She didn't get to come over on Mother's Day. I wouldn't let her come over because she had pink eye. And I was like, we do not want to get sick. I will see you on a different day. So I didn't get my card until after Mother's Day. So anyway, let's get to the stitching. I have to pull. I've been wondering where my favorite scissors were, and I just saw them in here. So I had to pull that out. This was one of my Stitch Mania pieces by Fancy That. It's called Boo, I guess. It says it's number 58. That little ghost. I am doing this on, I don't usually say stuff, but this happens to have it stuck on here. 14 count Zweigart Turbulence, I think is what it says. But there's mine. I just had a little part of this done right here last time, so. I don't know if I did all of that for Mania or if this one has come up again. But I think that was from Mania. Move my little tub. I keep all of my pieces until I do a video. I keep them in a tub. So I'm going to throw them in that and then organize everything afterwards. I worked on the Summer in Chalk out of magazine, Just Cross Stitch magazine, June 2016. There's the stitched one. This also was a Mania piece. And Shelly told me that I need to hurry up because Myrrh is almost here, but Myrrh is here now, here in Central Texas. It is here in a big way. So I guess I'm behind. This time, though, I did finish up this and finish the flower. I think I've still got some white to go down around there. So there we are. We went yesterday to meet some of Dax's friends. They like to camp, and they were camping at a place, McKinney Falls, on the east side of Boston. So we went over there yesterday and hung out with them, and it was only, I don't know. I think the heat index has been like 110 or so. So why wouldn't you want to hang out outside with a bunch of people? It's craziness. I just found another pair of scissors. This one was also a Stitch Mania piece. Christmas patches, and I'm doing the big Santa Claus. I think he's adorable. Here we go. This time I had to force myself. Like, this has so many colors in it. And this right here, it was a little intimidating looking at it on the pattern. But once I got into how that pattern was going to work on there, then it got a whole lot easier. So I think before I had this here in the shoes, so this was already in. So on Santa, I did this and that in there. So that was fun. I like where you can see little areas of progress all at one time. And then my last piece for Stitch Mania, which was a new start this year, out of this Cross Stitch Christmas Joyful Tidings, I am doing this stocking for Jacob, my son-in-law. Not in those colors, but this is, if I remember right, I ordered the fabric from McKenna at 1884 Stitchery, and I want to say it was Harvest Gold. And it is a linen, I forget, maybe 28 count. And I'm doing it over 2. This stitching that's in there right now is, I've ordered a hank of silk from Silks For You in some shade of blue. But there is more. What I put in on this piece, I started up here. Sorry, this is hard because my stack of stuff is too high. I started up here, and I've done part of it, the band at the top. But part of it, there are different colors. It's not just all one color. And so I decided that I want something blue. So I ordered this from Gloriana. It's a Gloriana silk. Sorry for the crinkle. I guess I should have thought about that. I would need to take this out. I don't know. I don't know if this is what I want. It's a beautiful silk. It is absolutely beautiful. This one is called Midnight, and it's got slight variegation, but it's a dark blue to a darker blue. But I want something that with this is even. This one I think is actually a tiny bit lighter, just a smidge lighter than this. I really want something darker. Somebody out there has, and I don't know if it's a silk or not, but somebody's got a shade that's, if you're just looking at it, looks a little black, but it's really a deep, deep blue, and you have to have it in the right light to see that. And I wish I could remember what that was. If you know the color of it, whose thread it is, if you will put that in the comments, I would appreciate it, because I really would like something a little bit darker and just use just those 2 colors. Because I think if I do it all in just this one, that some of the details going to get lost by not having a separate color. But I think I want it, I think I want it darker. So if you have any ideas, let me know. I need the help. So that was my last one. Obviously, I ordered some silk, so that'll be in my purchases. I'm just getting all fancy, I guess. I don't know. I worked on my mason jars dimensions. And ta-da! I think I've got this bottle, the bottle completely finished. And I came up here to start moving up into the flowers. Actually, this one has one big flower in it. And I've put in some more back stitching in that one. I'm trying to do, I think I might have done some stitching up here around the top of the jar too. I'm trying to do like a thread of back stitching and then some cross stitching so that I don't leave all of the back stitching behind. It's a dimensions kit. There's plenty of everything except metallics. This one doesn't have metallics, so this one. This was one of my new starts. If you're new, I'm doing a new start every Sunday all year. I did that last year, and I have enough patterns to continue to do that next year. As a matter of fact, I was looking for a specific pattern, and I didn't find the pattern I was looking for, but I did find about 10 patterns that I forgot I even had. So I may have enough to do a new start every week for the next 2 years. But for now, that's where we're at. I started this one from the Prairie Schooler. This is the Prairie Year. I think they did a second Prairie Year, but this is the first one. And I started the bunny. I've already done the clovers. And I started this one on a 32 count Murano, the little checkerboard. It's in taupe. It's one of those from Hobby Lobby, the Artiste. But I just did a little bit of the grassy border at the bottom. I'm sorry, y'all, if I burst into flames. Not only is it incredibly hot outside, but I am having hot flashes. This last week, I've had hot flashes for years now because my body likes to torture me that way. But for the last week, they have been excessively bad. Like right now, I'm breaking out into a sweat. And Dax gets up in the middle of the night. He'll get up to go get something to drink, and he's dripping in sweat because he's sleeping next to a furnace. It's ridiculous. So, if I burst into flames, I'm sorry. That probably means I won't finish the video. I worked on my Gothic cows. I don't even know if that's the name of that one, but it's, like from American Gothic, so I like it. This book is called Cows and More Cows. I finally got all of the stitching ripped out of that side and have started filling back in. So I had high hopes that this one might get finished this year. It's on my list of 20 to finish, but because I had to rip all of that out and all of that good stuff, those hopes are dwindling. But there's others. From Imaginating Ink, worked on Be Thankful. This was a kit. I think I bought at Hobby Lobby. And this time, I've still got plenty to go, don't get me wrong, but I'm pretty proud of myself. I've got that basket finished, and the pumpkins. There's a lot of back stitching that needs to happen, but I did get the pumpkins and the gourd finished, and obviously got started on it says Be Thankful on that side. And then there will be a whole bunch of this berry vine, pepperberry, whichever, on the other side. So next time I pick it up, I really should start over here and do the back stitching, but we'll see. So I can find the front of this magazine. This poor magazine is falling apart, but should still be able to find the front of it, right? out of Cross Stitch and Country Crafts, March, April 1991. That's what it looks like. I'm doing this, the animals right there, but I am doing them as this, like this is the animal stack instead of separate. This is on my list of 20 to finish this year. Yeah, I don't think so. Unless the others start going much more quickly, I don't think that's going to happen. These things are confetti heavy. I still have to finish all the confetti for the flowers up here in the bow. And then she has like a bunch of flowers hanging out of her mouth. And I've still got to get her tail on and her back legs finished. So even she still has a lot of stitching. But she looks much better than at the beginning of the year. She didn't even have a head or most of that back there. So, I mean, I've gotten a lot accomplished, but I don't know that it will get finished. This also is on my list of 20. It's a Dimensions kit from a long, long time ago. 1983 is the copyright on it. And I'm doing it on as the kit came. It's on my list of 20 also. I think I already said that. But here we are. This time I just kept filling in black. So even if I get that all finished this year, there's a lot of other stitching left in here. This, however, is very tame for a Dimensions kit. So far, I've just been stitching with 3 strands. I haven't had any blends, no half stitches. It's kind of weird, to say the very least. Let's see. Out of Cross Stitcher magazine, September 2016. I'm doing this one, Days of Gold. I believe that is the name of the pattern and not just like a section of the magazine. But I'm doing this on 1/1 on something super small because I've lost my mind. But here we are. At the beginning of the year, I had, I think the banner here, 1 mushroom and 1 heart. Maybe this flower and this right here, I think. So I've done a fair bit. Right now I'm working on the house. I would have gotten more done on that day, except for I slept through my alarm. It's a spider running across the floor. This is another new start. It's from one of those daily cross-stitch calendars. This one's from 2010. It is full coverage. This is where I'm at. Not even impressive. I stitched this, and then I realized that on the chart they have, I'll show you the chart. Okay, it's that tiny, all in one piece there. So the symbols are super, super small. And I realized, if you see the difference between these two, this one has a lot of open space in the pink, and this one doesn't. The symbols that are right beside each other are a plus sign and a star. And the plus sign is pretty, I was looking to see which one of these it's on here with. Between the plus sign, I guess it doesn't matter. Between the plus sign and the star, it's hard to tell the difference. So I used a magnifier to look, to realize, because I was kind of like why don't those look the same? See, it's like this one I have something sticking out, and on here I don't. And it's like, why don't, they should just be the mirror image of each other. And so I was looking closer and realized that they were two different symbols, and I messed up. So I started it over, and then I was just done with that. I worked on Fright Night, which was Lizzie Kate snippet. And I'm doing this on a piece of fabric that was left over. And I'm doing it 2/2. This time I finished filling in the pumpkins and then put in the little green swirlies. The green swirlies are not mirror images of each other, so that took a little bit of coping to to deal with that. Out of, let's see if I can find the name of this magazine, Cross Stitch Golds. I don't see, I have no idea when it's from, but it is these birdhouses. If I can make them match, you get the idea. I'm doing this one. My intention is probably to do them all, but I started with this one. It's not good, y'all. It is not good. Here's where I am. Let's move the needle minder up. So here's where I am. As you can see right here, I've pulled stitches out, because when I was looking at the pattern, I thought that I had put, there was a green leaf there. I thought that I had put the leaf in the wrong place. And so I pulled it all out and decided to start with this dark blue that is the hole in the birdhouse, and then it has this fancy, it's the birdhouse with these little fancy things on the sides. Except for, I did have the leaf in the right place. I was counting off in the wrong place when I was putting the blue in. So now the leaf has to go back in, and all this blue has to come out because it's wrong. It's down too much, up too much. It's a row off, and I contemplated fudging it, but like there's a pattern in there, and I was just like, that's going to take more thought than I want. So luckily it probably won't be drawn again for a while, but I should probably put a note in there. Actually, before I put it away, I need to pull the blue out so that when I pick it up again, I can start over without any of that mess. You know how it goes. That does not make us happy. I worked on the May from the Joyful World Stitch Along. These are free patterns from Snowflower Diaries on her blog. snowflowerdiaries.blogspot.com, I believe. I'll try to remember to put that in. Anyway, last time all I had was the brown part of the border. I put in some of the green there and some of this here. Maybe next time I'll get to stitch my way over and put in a cat or two. Those should go faster than I'm doing them, but isn't that the case with everything I'm working on? So it's the problem when you have so many things going on that you don't work on. I don't get, big progress and stuff. It's tiny progress, but I also don't get bored, and I don't feel bad for having spent money on things that just sit there forever. I mean, these are all going to sit here. Like I said, I can still start something once a week for the next 2 years. Finish out this year and 2 more years. I'm sure I have enough down there. Which, speaking of, I was looking through some of those. I've got a lot of really big things in there. I need to squeeze some small ones in there somewhere. Ooh. This is another one by Imaginating Ink. Happy Everything. And this one, again, is on my list of 20. I think I can do it. I think I can make it. I'm getting so close. So, here we are overall. So, at the beginning of the year, I had not finished the stuff around the G and all the bag stitching. So, I finished that, and I didn't have this stuff around the E down here finished. So all of this is new this year too. And I really think I can make some good progress. There isn't a ton of stuff left. Like under the A, there are some flowers. Some hearts. There are some more flowers to fill in, as you can see from the little leaves there. And bag stitching. Thank God that white rabbit is in, because this stuff is hard to see the white on. And then by the H is the snowman. I dread that because, again, the white. But I'm getting close. I'm getting close enough that I think I can do it by the end of the year. We'll see. And this was my new start last week. I think last week by Sunflower Seeds, Jack-o'-lantern. On some of my new starts, most of my stuff I kit completely. All with threads, which means I have a ton of duplicate DMC threads, which is fine because when I finish something, I look to see if I keep a list in this little book of what projects need what threads they're still missing. And so when I finish something, before I put those threads away, I look to see if they can go in another project. But some of these that I'm doing now, I just kind of go, okay, I have that color and it's going to be long enough before I get back that I have time. So this one, I had a few of the colors. I started, that's his nose and part of his mouth. I just did one length of thread, which is kind of what I've been doing on these. For that one, it costs for some fancy flosses, I do believe, or maybe some blended. In one of the auctions that I had bought here locally, it had a whole bunch of these variegated threads, all kinds of colors. So I pulled out a couple of skeins of this orange variegated, but that's way brighter than that. I think the pattern calls for terracotta or something like that. But I coffee dyed it, so you can see it's not quite as bright as it used to be. Like the yellows are a little more toned down and stuff. And that's what I'm going to use for the pumpkin. If I need more, I still have it. Like I said, I did a couple of skeins of that. I worked on America Chart Number 1 by Little House Needleworks. This was a gift from Kimberly, the Distracted Stitcher. And who knows what color fabric this is. It looks like it's of an 18 count. This time I did God Ahead, and I filled in the white. I filled in part of one of the windows. Maybe this will help so you can see it without seeing through it. So that White House, that's a lot of stitching. I'm, a little over halfway down on that one side. Maybe 2/3, maybe not quite. So, and then, there's the whole other side. So this one has a long way to go, but it is not on my list of 20, so that's all good. I worked on From Stony Creek, Graveyard Halloween. This is another one. I don't know. Sorry, I didn't need to open it all the way up. I don't know what my deal was with this one, or actually, it's not just or the other piece. I had a period of time there where I just didn't care if anything had a margin, apparently. So here's where we are. This time I just worked coming up here on these tombstone. This will be stitched in. I didn't want to carry all the way across when there was nothing else there, so I'll go back and get that. And there are only a few more rows to go to finish that part off, but I had to go to stupid work. So anyway, there are mistakes. We have decided to go with it. I'm not ripping all that out. That I know for sure. I worked on my Friendship Quilts by Paula Vaughn. Also on my list of 20, but I'm hoping for halfway. As I say every time, if I can get this half finished, then halfway's really a little bit right here. But if I can get that finished, then I'm golden. And I just worked more down here this time. That quilt in the chair is no joke, and there's a lot more quilt stuff over on this side. The quilt makes for some serious confetti. So, it's okay though, because I love her. And then today, my new start is another Paula Vaughn. It's called Friendship Bouquet. And here's my amazing start. I know, right? I was going to make a needle minder to go with it, but Kirsten has my tube of these 6,000. Is that what the glue is? And I put that one in one of my project bags that I made. I have not made any more project bags. I've been very lazy. I've worked on my Solitude by Mystic Stitch. This I have moved into being my Sunday stitch. Since I got the Animal Advent done, I've pushed this up to be my Sunday stitch. And I hope y'all are sitting down, because I finished this page that I was on. I had just a couple of stitches in here at the beginning of the year. So I finished this page. This is on my list of 20, but there is no way it will be finished this year. But that's okay. I finished a page. I've already stitched more this year than I did all of last year filling in on this tree. So I've come over here and started on this page. I'm still doing this in the 10 by 10 blocks because that just works better for me. So I did the first block on the page isn't 10 by 10. It's like maybe 6 by 10. So I did that one, and then I came over next to it to start the next 10 by 10 block. But I'm also doing under it because I can still keep them blocked off that way. So unfortunately, my thought was, because then I can carry anything that's in this block, I can carry down to this one, right? The colors across here on the top really aren't much in these other blocks. So anyway, there are a few, but I finished off a block here, so I came over and started another one. When I finish this block, I'll start under here. And then when I finish this one, of course, I'll start. Eventually, I should have several blocks going. That was just too much talking about that. Anyway, I feel like I'm making more progress, but I am keeping it so that I don't lose track of my 10 by 10 square, because that helps me not get off immensely. And really all it's doing is saving me from changing threads, the time it takes to do that. So I get in a few more stitches. I will stitch on this one some more today, probably. I'm not, since I finished this page, it's made me really, really want to stitch on it a lot. But I've been up late the last 2 nights, so late for me. So I don't know, I might go take a nap instead, because I can. From this one, Portrait of a Cowboy, I'm working on this one. I think it's actually called the Face Off or whatever. I call it the Shootout. This I have moved into being my 25 a day stitch. Sometimes it's 25 stitches, sometimes it's 25 minutes, just depending on what else is going on. But here we are. This is also on my list of 20. I'm really hoping I can get this one done pretty soon. I have finished this guy except for the back stitch. There isn't, I mean, there's a fair amount, but it's not a ton of back stitching. And then obviously I've gotten the other guy started. This is his jacket. I've been working down. His pants will come down this way, his legs. And for now, right, he's headless, but whatever. So anyway, the 25 a day, like I said, it works for me. I wouldn't recommend it on a big item or something that's complicated. I just leave that one in the hoop, and I pick up a color and I stitch. If it's a day where there's a whole lot of confetti and I'm not really making progress, then I'll stitch for 25 minutes. If I can see the difference, then I'll do the 25 stitches and move on to whatever my piece for that day is. Okay, that was all of my stitching. But I know it was a lot. And sorry, things are falling down now. It was a lot. It is a lot of different stuff, but that really keeps me interested in it. So I don't have any intentions. I love watching people who do the challenges, and I find it a little bit interesting. And it piques my curiosity, but I do really like having the different things, you know, that the wheel has drawn for me and stitching on that. I like the progress that I'm seeing by doing the one thing for just 25 stitches or maybe 25 minutes. Because in the morning, if I get up on time, that still leaves me an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on what else I've gotten going on, to stitch on whatever I drew for the day. I almost never stitch at night. We don't open the office until 9:30, but we are usually there until 7 or 8 in the off season. During busy season, we're there until 11 or 12. So by the time I get home, cook dinner, all that stuff, you know, shower, I'm tired. I don't want to stitch because I'm going to get up at 5 o'clock the next morning. So almost all of my stitching happens in the morning, except for on the weekends. And sometimes, though, if I'm like, I am so close to finishing, I will come in and stitch at night. Anyway, Kirsten and I went to 90 Mile garage sale, 90 miles on Highway 90, through a bunch of different little towns. Last year we started in Seguin, and like none of the stores were open yet, because a lot of antique stores will participate. but people also have their own garage sales. And by the time we got to Schulenburg, which was the best town we were in last year, it was getting late in the day and a lot of people were closing up. So this year we decided to go to the far end to Columbus. We drove all the way to the end of the 90 miles and worked our way back. Again, we made it back to Schulenburg or maybe Flatonia, a little past Schulenburg, a little closer to home. Schulenburg was still the best. So we decided next year we're just going to go to Schulenburg, and then after that, we'll see where it takes us. But I didn't really buy a lot of, I didn't buy any cross-stitch stuff, I don't think. But I did buy some fabrics for finishing. This one is a velour. It's a little more green than it's showing up, but I thought that would be great for finishing. This is a panel with Christmas and the squares and stuff, but I thought, wouldn't that be great just for a square pillow finish to put that square on the back? So, and just some general low Christmas ones. I bought all of this fabric, a whole bunch of silverware, and some other stuff at one garage sale for like $10. I mean, I had a bag full of stuff, and it was like $10. And then while Dax and I were, while we were at the cabin, we, on one of the days, went thrifting. Dax has some trouble relaxing. He has not acquired the art of just being able to sit there. So when we were staying at the cabin, instead of relaxing, we went in and to some of the small towns out there and went to some of the different antique shops and junk shops. I like junk shops better than antique shops, but one of them had quilting fabric, and it was a yard for like $3.50. And so I was looking at the fabric and had grabbed one, and he said, "You don't need any more fabric." It's like, the last thing you need is more fabric. And I said, "I know, I'm buying it anyway." So I got this, but I mean, it's still in a little plastic bag, but how pretty is that? I thought, it's a yard. I can use it for finishes. It'll make a beautiful project bag. I know. You just heard me say I haven't made any more project bags. But that doesn't matter. I also bought in one of the junk shops this pillowcase that's been hand embroidered. And he was like, "What are you going to do with that?" It was 50 cents because it was embroidered. If it hadn't been embroidered on, it would have been a quarter. I gave her $1 and told her to keep the change because $1 is still a ridiculously low price even. But I am going to try to make a project bag out of that one too. One day. Eventually, we'll get around to it. And I did some shopping on eBay. Oh, I have to tell you though, before we move on to that. When Kirsten and I were going to do the garage selling, the day before, I went by the bank to pull some money out because I wanted smaller bills and stuff. And so ours has changed to where it doesn't spit the money out at you. It's got like the big, kind of like when you make the deposits. It's got the big thing and you got to reach down in there, and my little short arms, it's hard to reach down in there. So I reached and I grabbed the money, and there were several. This is a stack of bills, and it was windy, and I had the top and bottom bills, and the others flew out that way, all over the ground, blowing everywhere. Thank God there was nobody else at the ATM. But I have to get really close to reach the buttons and all of that. So I couldn't open the door to get out. I had to pull forward and stop the car and get out and chase the money down. Well, some of the bills, the tires were on top of. So then I had to go pull forward some more and then go chase that when the wind caught it. It was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. I would have just died if there'd been somebody else there. I probably would have had to have climbed under their vehicle to get the rest of my money. It is nuts. Nuts. So I have decided that this Heaven and Earth piece that I bought, pattern, is going to be my birthday start in August. So I don't want y'all to... I hope you're sitting down. I read the information inside the pattern. I know. I never do that. So I did it this time. And so I ordered a piece of, they did theirs on 25 count, even weave. So I ordered a piece of 25 count. And I got a half a yard, I think. Whatever they said their measurements were, I added a bunch and ordered. And I got it in a pewter gray. Because I felt like then, because it's 25 count and I'm going to do it, the pattern says 2/1 on 25 count. And I mean, you can't even see that's so tiny. There's no way that 2 threads is going to work. So I'm thinking it's going to be 1/1 on 25 count. I do 2/1 on 18 count, like the Solitude. It's 2/1 on 18 count Ada, and that's tight. I cannot imagine 2/1 on 25 count. If you think 2/1 would be fine, let me know. If you think I'm crazy, obviously let me know. But I think 1/1. So, because I don't know how it's going to be, I decided to get something that wasn't white, so that with these colors, if you could see the fabric through it, the gray wouldn't be as glaring as plain white would be. If you think 2/1 on 25 count would work, let me know. I mean, I've got time. My birthday's in August. I'm just going to go right ahead now and say that, my Stitch from Stash budgeting is not working this year. Last year I did pretty good. This year, not even close. Not even close. I got these. These are just a bunch of little, I think they're all 6x6. There's orange, 2 grays, and red. Ada. It was an eBay auction, and it was like almost nothing. So those will be good for smalls and ornaments and stuff like that. And then I also got this kit off of eBay. And the way it's finished, everything's in there. See, that is just like fringed and sewn onto that fabric right there. But I love these things with the little different squares. I always feel like I'm accomplishing something each time you finish one of those. You got to play the head games. But something I did not spend money on, in my garage, I realized that this little drawer thing was sitting there with nothing in it. I mean, it wasn't even like I took it from something else. It was just out there. So I have put the fancy flosses that I have in there. So that's fun, something to be a wee bit more organized. So the end of May, I ended May with, I have it written down, 138 whips, and I have 10 finishes so far this year, which I'm not mad about 10 finishes at all, especially since, I felt like Abigail's stocking was a big finish. The Animal Advent was a big finish, so I'm not mad. I will take my 10. I worked on something else. Oh, here it is. I took this to the cabin too, and worked on it. It's a little Snoopy latch hook. How cute is that? This was something I got off of Listia. It's like, oh, what did I just drop? I got this off of Listia, and when the box came in, I just set it aside, and then when I decided to start it is when I opened the box. For one thing, I had to order latch hook little things, the little tools, because I'd given my mom my last one. I actually thought I had another one, but I can't find it. It's quite possible that I do have one. But because you know how it is when you get on Amazon, I ordered 3 because you only need one, but if 3 only costs a little bit more than 1, you might as well have 3. And then I opened the box to look at it, and there was 1 in there. So now I have 4 for this one latch hook. This is the only, I do have another one, but this is all I'm working on. Anyway, this is obviously for a pillow. And when I opened it, I was blown away. For one thing, I've never done a latch hook which is counted. They've always been printed on the what would you even call this stuff? Whatever, the weave or fabric, whatever. They've always been printed. So this one is counted, which means that it would probably be easy enough to take this pattern and make it a count and cross stitch also. But the fabric is already sewn on here for the pillow, and it's got a zipper. I mean, it's very well done. I'm pretty impressed. I've never had a kit that was like that. So anyway, I've done, as you can see, not a lot on that, but that's okay. It's not a race. I made this little guy. I'm not done. I think I want to actually sew buttons on right there. He is from a panel, and here's the like little wall quilt from the panel. I am knocking stuff down. Well, I say that. Maybe I can't. But here's the little wall quilt. And then there was a panel with these guys, and he's the small one. There are 2 more. They get a little bit bigger. And then here's like a little runner. I guess it could be a pillow, either way. So I've had this forever, and I finally, got this made. Why does it take so long? Why do we take forever to do the simple things? But I did get something done. And Thursday nights, I have to tell you this too. Dax and I go to the dive bar, Devil's Backbone Tavern, and because they have the turn-up jam, which is just different musicians, people that play instruments that show up, and they just play and have a good time. And one of the things I love the most about it is they are always welcoming to new people. When Dax bought me my sewing machine, it's a Bernina, and it came with a 1-year membership in their sewing club at that sewing machine store, quilt shop all of that stuff. And it's in way north Austin, and I drove up there a few times, and they were not welcoming. They had their clique of the people who are always around, and if you weren't one of them, then you just kind of sat there like I like you were a leper. It's kind of like, ew. I used to tell my kids that I was going to Fight Club, but so I quit going because it's kind of like, this isn't worth my drive up here. And that's one of the things that I like about the Turnip Jam is these people are always so welcoming. They are willing to help anyone, and they encourage new musicians, people who are learning, to come and they'll help them learn and answer questions and show them things and offer ideas. It's just, in this day and age, it's just good. But anyway, none of that has anything to do with we were there Thursday night, and this couple came in when the weather's nice. There are picnic tables out back, and everybody's out back doing the music and all of that kind of stuff. Well, this couple came up and they pulled into a parking spot and put the car in park, and one of the tires, poof, just exploded. I mean, they had a blowout. I've never heard of anyone. They got out, they were both just kind of like, are you kidding me? I've never heard of somebody having a blowout when they're not driving, when you park your car and then have a blowout. It was crazy. It was crazy. And then the poor guy had to sit there and change the tire, and they were kind of parked at a little bit of an angle on rocky ground, and I'm sure it was no fun for him. Anyway, isn't that crazy? That wasn't crazy in my life. That was somebody else getting to have some crazy. But I just thought, have you ever heard of that? I've never even heard anybody talk about that, but like I said, just crazy. So earlier, I was telling you that I was looking for a pattern that I still haven't found, and I'm afraid to keep looking because I found like 10 patterns. And so I thought, I have this one, and even though I do think they're beautiful, I am not much of a sampler stitcher. I just, as you notice, that there weren't a lot of those, but for some reason, I have this one. It is the Design Connections Be Exalted, designed by Linda Bird. Here's the sampler. I don't know if it's focusing very good or not. And this comes with the pattern, and then there's a little bead pack, because apparently there's some beads somewhere on here. I have not opened it. I don't remember buying it. So, there you go. I'm going to do a giveaway. If you would like to win this, leave a comment with the word sampler in it. I'm going to write that down so I don't forget. And I will draw when I do my next video, which can be 2 to 4 weeks. You can never tell. Anyway, if you're interested in it, like I said, I haven't opened it. I don't know if it's how the pattern looks. I don't know if it's a hand-drawn pattern. I'm looking for the copyright to see if it has a date on it. It says the design size is 9 by 15 1/4. I don't see a date, so I can't even tell you about whether this might be a hand-drawn pattern or not. Based on the keys back here, I don't think so. But that doesn't always mean anything, so anyway. If you are interested, please be over 18. I'd appreciate it if you were a subscriber. And leave the word sampler in your comment. And I will draw. I'll draw right before I do my next video. I'm looking to see if there was anything else I bought or did or whatever. I'm sure I'll remember 12 things as soon as I finish this video. I am going to try desperately not for it to not be so long for the next one. It just gets crazy. We were, like I said, we went and met up with friends yesterday. We're meeting up with different friends next Saturday. So look at us. Social butterflies, you know, party animals. But I think as far as now, that's all we have plans. We're going to Houston on July 1st to celebrate Easter with our families. Yeah, because it just hasn't worked out until now. So hopefully everyone stays healthy and everything stays good and we get to go do that. Okay, y'all. That's it. Y'all have a wonderful week, 2, 3, 4, until I see you again. Thank you, everyone, for your likes and comments. I welcome all of you new subscribers. I appreciate it. And we'll see you here next time. Thanks, y'all. Bye.